Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the transit Sun in Aquarius. Now, when the Sun transits Aquarius, this is an energy. What's interesting about this is that it's making the transition from Capricorn, which Capricorn, it was more introverted, introspective, a lot of caution and premeditation. Now it enters freedom-loving Aquarius, a sign that doesn't like to be inhibited from making progress and from doing things. It's more freedom-loving. And what I find interesting about this, I think there may be a little bit of a correlation with the weather in many parts of the world, because when the Sun enters Capricorn, you have a time where the winter begins and you have a real strong, colder, like temperatures in a lot of locations. And what happens is the Sun enters Aquarius when you're approximately a month into winter. And I think what happens is a lot of people have stayed inside a lot during when the Sun's in Capricorn, and it's kind of like their hibernation weather. And even though when the Sun enters Aquarius, you're basically in the thick of winter at that time, many people might feel like, well, I need to get out. I've been penned in for a pretty protracted period. I need to get outside and do things, and whether it's just an exhilarating walk or whether it's just going outside and just doing whatever, doing things very spontaneously. I think that's what happens a lot when you have this Aquarian energy. And Aquarian energy too, I mean, Aquarius, the sign is about innovation and ingenuity. And even the people that are really very conservative and might have very cautious, conservative like natal charts, they may get a little bit more creative, a little bit more ingenious, and really trying maybe new ways of doing things. And it could be during this time too, where people might feel like they have a little bit more of an independent streak. There might be more of a need to be a little bit more amiable and friendly. Aquarius is a lot of humanitarian energy as well. I mean, there's a lot, what happens during this time, I think you have a lot of this cold weather. You have a lot of people that are on the street, that are homeless, and you really could have a lot of this benevolent Aquarian energy, people being selfless, maybe giving a meal to somebody on the streets, for example. And I think this is a time for people that are actually innovators and inventors and people that are in some kind of scientific and technical fields. This is really appropriate for them, because this could really be a time where they brainstorm and really come up. They have that greater chance, I think, at this time to come up with those ideas, as opposed to the Sun being in other signs. So that's something to look at as far as this transit goes. And Aquarius is a sign that could be very unconventional and unorthodox. And this could be a period where even the most conservative people might be willing to try different things. And I'm not saying to go on a high wire without netting or anything like that. I don't necessarily mean someone's going to do that. But I mean, people are going to do things where they throw a little bit more caution to the wind, and they're going to be a lot more extemporaneous during this time. You could see a lot more unpredictable behavior by even the people that you see as very consistent in their habit patterns. I mean, even me with Taurus rising, and I have a strong fixed chart, I might do some things that are a little bit unpredictable that I ordinarily wouldn't do, maybe when the Sun's in Aquarius. But anyway, what I find interesting too about this is that I look at as far as sports goes, I look at the National Basketball Association, and those of you not in the United States, that's the professional basketball organization that is in the United States, and the All-Star game often falls when the Sun is in Aquarius. And what I find interesting is that during this time you really have the All-Star weekend, it's not just the All-Star game. There's other things connected with this. There's a slam dunk contest, and people really show their original dunks. Originality is, of course, it corresponds with the sign Aquarius. Michael Jordan, ironically enough, if I'm not mistaken, he won at least one slam dunk competition on the All-Star period, and Michael Jordan has his sun in Aquarius, so I find that very, very interesting. And Aquarius is about energy that is progressive and forward moving. I find what's interesting is you could take one sport, for example. I mean, pro football, the season ends when the sun is in Aquarius, and you might have a lot of players contemplating, well, am I going to be with this team next season, or am I going to be doing something else? And when the season culminates and comes to an end, people are future oriented. They're looking toward what they're going to be doing during the off season as well. So I find that interesting as well. So anyway, people, it's also important to look at the house that the sun in Aquarius is transiting in, as this could factor in strongly in a particular sector of life and flavor that sector of life now, and shows where that energy is going into as far as what sector of life in your chart. So anyway, let's say that the transiting sun is in your first house. Now, this could be a period where you may really have a strong need to shine or stand out in general. But being in Aquarius, it might be by being eclectic or innovative in some way, shape, or form. Now, and it might even be connected with your appearance being in the first house. Now let's take, it's also important to look at the aspects, if any, that are made by this transit, as this could impact the transit. Now let's say that the transiting sun is making a conjunction to your natal sun. Well, this could be a period where you might feel very rejuvenated and invigorated and have a strong abundance of energy. And being in Aquarius, it might be, for example, doing something where you're extricating yourself from a confined situation and breaking free from some confined situation, such as staying in a place with other people and moving out on your own and being by yourself, for example. And it could also be, the energy might, as another example, could be applied toward humanitarian endeavors, as that is associated with the sign Aquarius. Well, anyway, people, that will conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the transit sun in Aquarius, and stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about the transit sun in Pisces. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.